What is up?
Hey, hey.
Howdy, howdy.
I don't know which one I'm looking at. Sorry, been a crazy day.
Cray cray.
I did not stop to eat.
Oh, okay. So, little pizza for dinner? Sweet.
Yeah, went to, I should have been working on my Facebook. Sorry, Facebook ad. And I'm looking at the wrong camera. Okay. So I should have been working on my Facebook ad, but I needed to go pick up prescriptions. So I had to run out to the grocery store. And I told you I had the other call right before this one.
Right.
So we ordered pizza while we're at the grocery store and picked it up. And it's not Pizza Hut. It's like our local guy.
Okay. What's the name of that pizza joint of the local guy?
It's Ferrari's Pizza.
Okay. Are they pretty tasty?
Oh, my damn, yes.
Sweet.
Have I got two screens open?
Huh?
I didn't know if I had two screens open.
No, you just have, I mean, from what I see, only see one.
Am I looking at you right now?
Correct.
Okay, good. Well, yeah, I'm not dressed for the
occasion. No worries, man.
Well, it was like, well, and the thing was, is this morning, I didn't have much to do. I mean, I was making my calls, and then at noon, I pushed somebody off to 3 o'clock. I had something else that pushed to 2 o'clock. I had a conversation at 1 o'clock that I had planned, but everything took at least an hour.
Okay.
And so I'm ended up with my last Zoom call right at 5 o'clock. And she gets back from cutting her hair, so I spent like 10 minutes not looking at the computer. And then we went to the grocery store, bought stuff, came back, and while we're at the grocery store, I'm like, we got 12 minutes. There's no way I'm going to make it back to my desk before the meeting. She's like, well, let's get the pizza. And I'm like, well, we need to call it in. She's like, no, it's right there. Well, let's just go. And I'm like, yeah, but we need to call it in. We get there, and he's like, yeah, you got to call it in. And I'm like, and then he's like, yeah, no lasagna, just pizza. And I'm like, fuck. Okay. So maybe tomorrow, though, because the lasagna is fucking phenomenal. Have you been to Ferrari's yet?
I have not. Where are they located at?
Quite in Legacy.
Let's see. You said Ferraris?
Mm-hmm. Like the vehicle?
Pizza.
The family last name. And oh my damn, the lasagna is phenomenal.
Well, we'll have to try them out.
Definitely. And I'm sorry to make you watch me eat, but
Oh, you're good, dude. I'm looking at their delicious menu over here. Sicilian.
oh yeah.
They got an eggplant parmesan. What are those, sandwiches?
So how did you make the design behind you work?
So I use Premiere Pro, which is a video editing software, and so essentially I make it to a certain length. I think I made that particular one like a minute, and then I can incorporate my logo, add some text. I found, so it's kind of like a I'm trying to think of the best term for it. it's like the Home Depot of for video creators. Here, I'll pull them up.
Okay.
You can people put on so that the paint in the water. They have a multitude of God, what's the name of that thing? I forgot. Motion array. So I can let me do a screen share.
I think it can let you screen share.
No, well.
Okay.
Can you see it?
Yeah.
Okay, so let's see, stop video. Of course, it's a subscription type of thing. So they got a multitude of different, let's just do nature, for example. And essentially people all over the world, they'll do different, you know, if I want a horse in the background, of course I can have that going, and then what I'll do is I'll download it, import it into Premiere Pro, and then do something like that. I mean, this is only like a 12-second snippet. However, you know, once you input it, or once you create your video and then you come into Zoom, you can loop that particular video. You can loop, let me bring up my Zoom thing. I think there's a setting in there that'll allow you to, let's see, profile settings. Let's see, should be a thing in here for the advanced branding. No. I'm looking for the background profile. Anyway, within there you can do the a loop on your background. Once you do the loop on the background, just continually over and over and over. So depending on how long you edit your video, you I could put different things in there, like a.
Well, can you do like the Matterport? What's it called?
Video.
Yeah, the walkthrough.
Yeah. I would need to. I would have to do like a screen snippet of that video itself, and then import it into Premiere, and then create it in Premiere. And then once that's done, then export it over to the video background.
Okay. Well, because I know you can put like an MP4 as your background on Facebook.
Correct.
But how you get it as a backdrop in this is like.
All it is just an MP4 file.
Well, I mean, because I can't seem to get an MP4 file to work in Zoom.
Hold on, let me. Meetings. I'm trying to find the settings for maybe user management.
Oh, and I did hit recording when we started talking about the backdrop.
Okay. I'm trying to find that. What files? Because I exported it as a MP4 file. So Zoom does backdrop file, virtual background. That's what it is.
Yeah, because I go to virtual background.
Let's see.
Plus, oh, now I see add video.
Yes.
Okay.
Log into Zoom web portal, room management, account settings. So, settings. in meeting.
Because yeah, that little clip that we've got at the beginning of our first video would be, heck, I'd love that as my little backdrop for next week or tomorrow. Is that
So
something
you
can
just
upload?
want like do you just want the
I don't know. I don't
Price
really
is Right? Like, do you want some like a live video type of thing back there with your logo and then your name and like your social stuff to where it
Yeah,
pops up?
just something fun, to run behind me when people are looking at me or when I'm not on screen.
Sure. Yeah, let me see what I can pick up. I don't have anything. Today I finished up one of my spaces, so I don't have anything booked for tomorrow.
Okay.
So.
No, I mean, no rush. Heck, that my I'm doing business interchange in the morning, and they're gonna love the ones I've got because they haven't seen any of them yet.
So what are you doing in the mornings for your for real estate at the moment?
So I've got they call it the game room, and it's a somewhat of a rapid fire. You get there in the morning, it's 30 minutes, and the first 10 minutes are kind of a popcorn call up game where you've got to use a presupposition. Heck, let me see if I've still got the one from this morning. Today's not the 18th, is it?
No.
We're all the way in April.
Yeah. It'll be Christmas before you know it.
So like this morning it was, I want to work with a big team. And so you've got to start off with your presupposition involuntarily, instinctively, almost magically, second nature, continuously, steadily, spontaneously, even without thinking, unconsciously, and constantly. Now the thing is, Jason, most of those words I don't use regularly in a sentence anyway. So it basically it's a breaking of my preconceived notions of how you have a conversation. So that's the first part that kind of breaks me on it. And then you've got your regular tie downs, but they're different. And so they throw out something new at you each week. Like today's was, I would like to work with a big team. And it's like, okay,
right.
I'm at Keller Williams. I've got 600 other agents that are here. We've got over 20 people on staff at our office. Is that big enough for you? I'm also an independent agent, which means that when you work with me, you'll be working with me, but I've got the support of, all these other people. So why not work with me? So to me, it's one of those that kind of renders itself mute fairly quickly, but we've got a couple of 5 objections to it, which is like, okay, well, that's a little hard, but people will object, and that's fine. It's just the how do I put it? I mean, you're overcoming different objectives, and if you say everything in the first one, you've got to come up with 4 more reasons why. Does that make sense?
Sure.
Yeah. So it just makes it a little bit more interesting in how you deal with everybody, or deal with. So it's kind of a change in mindset at the beginning of the day that keeps you motivated. So it's really quite enjoyable.
Now, is this a daily meeting or a once a week meeting?
Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday.
Okay.
And tomorrow is a see how many you can do in the shortest period of time, and the person who gets the most wins something. It's just one of those, again, keep you on your toes. How do you stay positive, basically, in this crazy, crazy time we've got right now?
Right. So, and I'm assuming that you guys are doing everything via Zoom?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
And that's just it. As I'm in here, I'm in Zoom all day long. And what was that?
That was me. Little
Okay.
notifications.
Well, like I said, I mean, I'm in Zoom all day long, and I'm like, I need a break sometimes.
No, Chris, you need to stay in your seat all day. Make sure you're hustling and bustling, man.
Well,
yeah, I'm kind of the same way. Either I'm out and about doing a Matterport or still image photos for real estate, headshot, and then back to the command center in my little operation that I got going here. So
Right on. Well, you know,
Enjoying
and
the
that's
headaches
just,
aside.
and I want to be out and about, and it's actually gotten to where it's easier for me to stay home and do this than it is to go. But
Through all this, are you finding it more convenient to stay at home, or would you rather be out and about?
well, I'd rather be out and about just because I like to be out and about. But um, I think at the end of all this, what I'm going to be is able to do all of it from just my telephone. But right now, it's like, yeah, I can. I mean, like I said, I was at a meeting and it was stop and then start, stop and then start, stop and then start. So I was going from, you know, I had a 1 o'clock meeting, a 2 o'clock meeting, a 3 o'clock meeting, and a 4 o'clock meeting, and then I took a run for the door because
Right.
hell, I needed to pee. Um,
I'm out.
yeah, it's like, hey guys, you know, I like, and the thing is I would normally put an hour between every meeting to give me time to get from point A to point B, but that also gave me a chance to digest everything that just happened.
Right.
You know, that whole pause and reflect really does come in handy in trying to figure out how to handle a situation, because especially when it's a new situation, all of this is new. I mean, nobody alive has lived through a pandemic before.
Correct.
I mean, we know about the Spanish plague or the
Spanish flu.
Spanish flu. We know about the plague, but we don't know anybody that's actually.
Well, hold on, time out. Let's rephrase that before folks get offended. The flu of 1918.
Sorry.
I'm just kidding.
It's kind of like, when was the War of 1812?
Right.
Yeah.
What do you got there? Is that your old?
Oh, this is my letter opener.
It's dagger.
No, this is just a letter opener, but I use it to open my letters. So,
Okay.
yeah, I had someone earlier today go, "Is that a real letter opener?" I'm like, "Yeah." He's like, "I've never seen anybody with a real letter opener." I'm like, "Why wouldn't you see people with letter openers?" "Oh, because you're not in their mailroom." I don't know. I mean, but I mean, yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's always been like, I want a nice letter opener, so I finally found a couple I liked and I started buying.
There you go. Heck yeah.
It's not any weirder than, you know, buying Hot Wheels cars or baseball cards.
No different. No different, my friend.
Yeah.
Yeah. So did you? So you've been a little preoccupied all day. So I'll give everyone a little taste of what I did today.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Or actually, what I did yesterday and completed today. Screen share.
And again, this is allergies, not flu. Just
FYI.
yeah. Oh, how do we do that? I love this. We can now see each other. Oh, because you're sharing the screen. Okay. Oh, this is beautiful. Is this another grand home?
No, this is it's another real estate agent, Jessica Hart. She works for Keller Williams as well, but I think she's over at the Dallas and Preston office.
Okay, right on. The name sounds familiar.
So, but let me go ahead and start from the beginning of it. This will transition into the, well, hold on. I gotta restart. There we go.
Nice.
It goes a little fast, but it's not slow enough to where it keeps your attention.
Yeah. What city is this in?
It's in Rowlett.
Okay. They got some nice houses out in Rowlett.
Yeah, that they do. This was almost a 3,000 square foot home.
Really?
Apparently it was built in 1991, but it was rebuilt from the ground up. Now, whether they took it all the way down from the slab and built it up, that I don't know.
Okay.
I didn't.
Was it one that was hit by one of the tornadoes?
Jessica didn't reveal that information, nor did I ask. So,
Fair enough. Fair enough.
But I only found that information out on the MLS listing. Because essentially what I typically do is I try to get the real estate agents to provide me a list of features throughout the house so I can do these Matterport tags here.
Yeah.
And she just referred me back to the MLS listing. And so, of course, a lot of you realtors are well-versed in MLS listings. So you guys typically put a description of the home, you know, kind of a short story in the very beginning. And throughout that information, I just kind of pick out what the features are, or if I see a feature in there, I'll highlight that with a Matterport tag, you know, kind of like the one with that. Wait till it zooms back out.
The low flow toilet?
Yeah, so let me pause this real quick. So back on this one right here, there's some people that will, but I particularly, good Lord, I can't speak.
Particularly?
Yeah,
oh, wow, I can't do it either today.
Thank you. Tongue twister.
Yep.
On the back side of the store, there's a sink. So of course it's a half bath, but there's a mirror from wall to wall over here.
Oh, okay.
And if I put that camera right there and shut the door, the only drawback to this is the camera doesn't like things to be moved. So essentially I have to leave that door the way it is. I don't have to, but the problem that this particular bathroom challenged me with is that there'll be a reflection of the actual camera itself. And I don't think that's a big deal, but for me it is.
Okay.
So fortunately she had pictures to provide. So
Okay.
if you're to click on that, there's a picture right there. It doesn't have the camera right there. I didn't take these images. It was another photographer that did, so I can't take credit for these images. But if I don't take the still images, I always request the realtor if they want to put these images in here for situations like this. And so when you go throughout these rooms, and let's just say you click on that, and then you click on that, then you kind of, it's like, oh, okay, cool. That way you can kind of get a general idea of what's going on. But it's really nice. It allows you to get like a really good perspective of what's going on. And so just kind of going through, and what this is doing, it's walking you through the whole house.
Yeah.
And here's another good example too. Of course, you can see right here from wall to wall right here. These little circles here represent the images that were taken with the camera itself. But if I were to put that camera right there, in my professional opinion, I think it takes away, you know, if I were to take an image there, you would see the reflection of the camera, and it just, for me, it just doesn't do justice. But
this is with the aesthetic.
Yeah, and you know, you're still able to see what's going on. Like here, you know, utilizing the still images, whether it's me or another photographer that provides these images. But yeah, no, that's one nice thing about it is you can actually have clients, you know, push that play button.
Yeah.
Do the full walkthrough, look at it all. But then I think at that moment your client decides whether or not, okay, I like what I see now. Now I would like to see it in person. I guess feedback on your end with what we're going through right now with this whole thing here in the United States from a real estate agent's perspective, is this helping or hindering or with you guys? Well,
and I'm talking to people all over the country, and a lot of them are like, wish we could have gotten these done beforehand. And so now they're doing like little Zoom calls. So, and how those work is kind of weird and different depending on which agent you're talking to and what state they're in.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, this is where you can go, hey, look, I like this house. Let's go take a look at it. Or I don't like this house. We can go ahead and cross it off. And I love how you're getting a view from these windows so you can see what it looks like on the outside, getting the curb appeal.
Yeah.
Because, you know, that's the kind of thing that you can't tell from the picture on the MLS. You'll see the front of the house and it's like, hey, this looks great, but you don't know that the neighbor across the street has a dumpster in front of it because, you know, they're rebuilding or whatever.
Right. And that's part of the techniques from, you know, from me being a real estate photographer. And it's not necessarily a technique or that we're trying to hide things. It's just about the curb appeal. And in all honesty, you know, let's just say if I go back over here and I take a picture, I necessarily wouldn't do this particular view, you know, for a still image.
Mm-hmm.
It has that. But I would definitely do the image from this perspective, you know, because essentially what you're trying to highlight is the closet and the room itself, and then you have a ceiling fan, smoke detector. So there's certain key little elements in there that, you know, a client's looking for versus, okay, I mean, it is is this helpful? Yes.
Yeah.
But from a photographer and from your point of view, no, it doesn't do justice. But that's where these come in too, you know, and this really allows individuals, okay, well, I can zoom in, you know, it's not like high quality, you know, 26 megapixel imagery. However, you know, you do get the point of what's going on. You know, you can see your neighbor's house from across the street.
Yeah, but you can also tell that he can't look directly into your window.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, and then just kind of providing, you know, there's the still image point of view. You do get that crispy look to it.
Yeah.
But the whole point with all this, it just actually allows you to virtually walk through and where'd my thing go? Okay. Hold on.
Oh, nice.
So there's certain little capabilities. It's hit or miss at the moment, especially with this camera. But typically, I can sometimes I can't. I was just fortunate. Like on that grand home that I did, I was able to go outside and get this was my maximum spot that I can go outside and do a scan. However, I can put tags out here, you know, so that's kind of where these images come into play as well.
Okay. Yeah.
However, on the flip side, I am able to do of course, you can see the camera right there, but
shadow, yeah.
But you can't do a full 360 image on the backside.
Oh, okay.
And typically what I do is I'll provide, some people only want a couple, but I will do typically the four corners of the home. Sometimes I'll do the side, like this one I did the side. Kind of gives you an idea of, just kind of let you know, hey, there's not a privacy fence here. And then I can come back over to this one. And it gives you a good idea of where you're at.
Yeah.
And then, but yeah, no, it definitely, then you can go through and you get that dollhouse perspective. It's like, okay, I have orientation of everything. This is where the master bedroom is. It's where the garage is. You can still highlight on the Matterport tags, you know, that was one of the images that was provided, and then it'll take you back or take you into that room.
And who is the agent on this one?
Her name is Jessica Hart, and she's
Okay.
with the Keller Williams Dallas Preston office.
Okay.
But yeah, no, and I've always mentioned too, you know, you can do these
Oh,
little
that's to
measurements.
measure. Right on.
I've still yet to bring out my tape measure to kind of verify actual measurements on there, but it does.
Well, I went and got one of those digital tape measures because I was like, I've got so many tape measures already, and I kind of wanted one of the digital ones anyways. They said they were accurate to within a quarter of an inch.
Okay.
To be fair, I think that, you know, if it's accurate to within a quarter of an inch, it's probably more accurate than I am with the tape measure, because I keep, you know, you got to butt that tape measure up against something. At least this takes into consideration the length of the device.
Right. No, and you can, you know, I would assume 9 feet is almost a good accurate representation of that.
Yeah.
But it's a neat feature to have, you know. I mean, it definitely allows the client to get in, or the real estate agent if they need to, you know, go in and do some simple basic measurements. Of course, I'd probably, you know, now let me ask you this: do the home inspectors, do they provide accurate measurements, or are they just inspecting within the home?
Yeah,
or
they're
whose
checking to make sure that
responsibility is it?
they're checking to make sure that you know, there's not anything egregiously wrong with the home. As far as how long the walls are, you know, what I was told when I got started was, you know, you measure it, and if it's like, if it's a 12 foot, if it's almost 12 feet, but it's 11 feet and 10 inches or 11 feet and 11 inches, you write down 11 feet. You don't write almost 12 because it won't let you. But if you round up and they've got a 12-foot couch and they got to put it in there, well, you may have just queered the deal just by putting the wrong, you know, measurements in there. Because if,
Right.
you know, hey, if I had known that I couldn't put my 12-foot couch there, then I wouldn't have bought this house. I mean, yeah, I don't think that's a real objection, but they could. I mean, if that was really the only reason you bought the house was the 12-foot wall,
Yeah.
you know, I'm going to call bullshit on that. But
Right.
that doesn't mean that they can't use that to go, hey, you said 12 feet and it's not 12 feet. So yeah, you do it as an under, but having this to where it's like, okay, you write down in the MLS that it's 11 feet, but you measure it, and with this, it says it's 11 feet 9 inches. It's like, well, okay, so it's either 11 feet or 11 feet 9 inches. I got a 12-foot couch. I'm either going to shave a couple of inches off of it, or I know I can't put it on that wall.
Right. All right. Yeah, it's as this all goes, you know, it's definitely a nice piece to have in the real estate agent's toolkit, you know, for a visual aid of selling your listing. I think there's a multitude of different visual aids, you know, whether you're doing a Facebook Live of the home, whether it's a Matterport tour, whether it's still imagery, or, you know, having someone video you throughout that. There's a multitude of ways, especially in this time right now. It's a great way to showcase your property.
Definitely. Loving it.
So now, how are listings going for you, and what are the limitations that you're experiencing at the moment as being a real estate agent in the state of Texas? and especially in the DFW area?
Well, so earlier this week, Governor Abbott allowed us to, or basically sent out much at the prodding from the Texas real estate. Oh, sorry, I really do need to drink more water. Basically, Trek had petitioned Abbott enough to where he said, okay, yes, real estate is an essential. It's part of the infrastructure. People are going to need to move. People are going to need to have a place to live. So yes, y'all are considered essential, but that doesn't mean that we have to work.
Okay.
So that's one of those things where it's like, oh, wait, you have to work? You don't have to work? No, I mean, it's like you can work from home. But yeah, a lot of the quarantine yourself in place is still valid. And that's where I think something like having the Matterport images where somebody can do a virtual tour, whether it be on their laptop, phone, computer, or even with the VR headset. And I'm still kicking myself. I haven't got my VR headset yet. Because man, I really want to put on a VR headset and try walking around in one of these things to see what it's like. And to be frank, part of it is, you know, at the end of the day, and when I say at the end of the day, I'm talking about at 9:30, 10 o'clock, I'm going, I want to just close my eyes and go to sleep for, 8 hours because I'm tired. I'm up early in the morning and I'm calling people, I'm talking to people. Like I said, today I pretty much missed lunch and, just going. It's like, okay, so I could be sitting around just playing video games all day long. And there's nothing really keeping me from doing that other than, this is a little bit more exciting to me right now. The technology, the what's going on right now, the people that are wanting to buy houses, other people that want to buy houses, the people that want to sell houses, the people that want to sell houses. There are people that still have to move. That was one of the things that one of the people in New York was talking about. I can't remember if it was this morning or yesterday, because the days have kind of started to blur together. But the comment was, there are people that still have to move. It's like they've got a job waiting for them in another city, in another state, next week. They still have to pack everything up and go. So, and buying that house over there is still contingent on them selling this house here. So they still need to sell the house. They still need to move, whether they're quarantined or not. They still have to go. So you've got that on the one hand, and of course the converse of it is, I'm hearing people in New York have been getting B&Bs out in Maine and going, well, that's my second home, so they're going there. So they've essentially shut down, no Airbnbs, and I guess they're stopping people at New York going, no, you got to go back. You're staying here for 14 days.
Wow.
Yeah.
So within Texas, are you finding any hurdles putting up new listings or getting clients to do an open, or not necessarily an open house, but to get them into looking at the home? Or are people a little nervous about that? Or
well, I think everybody's nervous about that, but the one thing that you can say is, in uncertain times, it's okay to be uncertain.
Sure.
There's still houses going on the market. There's still houses being sold. There's still houses that are closing. So all of this is still going on, whether you're staying at home or not. People are still buying houses, selling houses, and moving. I'm still getting calls from investors saying, hey, have you got a house that I can buy? And, I was talking with several people that own houses. They're like, you know what? I'm thinking I might need to sell my house because my rental property, because I need income and they're not going to be able to pay right now. And the people that are in those houses are like, I can't pay right now. And if we can't come to an agreement, then I'm not sure what I'm going to do. And that's because a lot of people are, a lot of service positions, they can't work right now. Like, restaurants are a good example in as much as you normally would go into a restaurant and you would sit down and a waiter would come over and take your order.
Right.
Well, now you've got the kitchen staff is still there and management is still there, and you may have one or two servers still there, but the bulk of the servers that would be there on a Saturday night aren't there because, you know, you need your space.
Because of the guidelines, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, plus, I mean, the decline in, you know, the health hazards that, you know, a lot of these cities and states have imposed on a lot of folks. You know, my wife and I, we were out and about today, and, you know, just seeing a lot of these places just shut down. Some of them do the curbside service, some of them aren't, you know, and it's quite strange to see at this moment, but, you know, it's a lot of these service workers are out of work at the moment too. You know?
Yeah, and so what are they going to do? I mean, they live somewhere.
Yeah.
So, you know, they've got, you know, so they've got rent that may come due, and they're like, well, I haven't been able to work, so I haven't been able to make any money. And of course, you hear about people that have had temporary layoffs. You've got people that have been furloughed.
Right.
And, you know, and it's rough. It's rough for them. And, you know, if they've got a mortgage and they call their bank and say, hey, you know, I need a little help, they're going to get that help, but that doesn't forgive the loan. They still have to make that up. So when they go back to work, they're still going to have to, you know, make allowances for that.
Right.
So, I mean, it's going to put an undue strain on a lot of individuals in the next short period of time. And, you know, to get some relief for some of these people, investors are going to have to step in. And that's really what it is. It's not so much that they're taking advantage of a situation, is that they have to step in. They need to step up and go, okay, you know, there's some people out there that need help right now. And the best way for me to help them out is to buy this property at a reasonable price so that whoever I'm buying it from can now take that money. He's now liquid and he can pay his bills and pay his employees, et cetera, et cetera. And that investor is going to get to take it on the chin that the person that's in the house is going to pay, you know, whatever reduced rates in the short period of time, with the understanding and belief that in the future they're going to get full payment.
Okay.
But I mean, that's kind of what you expect the investor to do in this situation. Is they're the ones that we expect to come in and help us out. It kind of goes to not Ben Franklin's. I can't believe I forgot this. Not Warnke. Again, I keep doing these with you at 7 o'clock, Jason, and I haven't had enough water.
Hey, it's okay, man. I'm not going to hold your feet to the fire.
But you know, it's probably on this bookshelf behind me. The guy that wrote, not the guy that wrote Think and Grow Rich, but How to Win Friends and Influence People.
That I don't know. Robert Kiyosaki.
No, he's much older than Robert Kiyosaki. If you know,
Warren Buffett.
Leave. I was going to say, leave your answers in the comments below.
Absolutely.
And
just FYI, we can't see your bookshelf, Chris, because we've got your billboard in the back. So just FYI to folks out there.
Well, you know, and that's because at the moment my bookshelf is in utter and complete disarray, and we'll get that fixed eventually.
Okay.
But as far as priorities, that is not even on the horizon. Ergo, billboard behind me.
Hey, best way, man.
Hey, it wasn't vanity. It was just I don't want to put that up there. And I had this already. I saved it on my computer. I'm like, well, there you go.
Yeah, I've got a bunch of towels on our couch and unfolded, and so that's where these wonderful virtual backgrounds come into play. You know, they hide a lot. You know.
Well,
so.
And the thing is do you want to be distracted by whatever's going on behind me, or can I at least distract you with what I'm saying?
With your beautiful picture in the background, heck yeah.
Well, hey, you know, at least I know what my other glasses look like on me.
There you go. You still have those glasses?
I do. I happen to damage them a little bit. just
Okay.
this last week. I couldn't tell you when, again, because I can't remember my days right now. But, you know, my optometrist is another good example. My optometrist is one that I can't go visit.
That's what I hear, and I believe dentist as well, correct?
A dentist, and I'm actually going to meet with my cardiologist tomorrow via Zoom, or whatever the HIPAA equivalent of Zoom is.
Okay, okay.
So I'll get to have that conversation, you know, much like this. Hopefully they won't make me strip down and stand in a paper gown at home, but you never know.
Yeah, I mean, with the way things are going right now, I mean, it really seems like I think everybody's becoming more comfortable with interacting, you know, via video conferencing and just being able to communicate. I don't know. I mean, I don't
know. I mean, like I said, I'm in that morning call where they say, like, look, if you're not going to be on video, we're gonna boot you out of this room. But that doesn't mean people don't come in without their video on until like 5 minutes, and they're like, hey, okay, I'm turning it on now, because you know they don't want people to see them for whatever reason. I'm like, I don't care. The sooner I get in front of you and you go, oh, that's Christopher, and then you go on to the next thing. It's like, okay, I just hear him and I know that's what he's talking about.
Right.
But you know, I got over myself a long time ago.
So is this half and half, and is there an age group that's being a certain way, or is it just totally it's totally random?
Well, I'd say within any group you're going to have those that are like, I don't want to be on screen, and you're going to have those like me, they're like, I don't care, get me on screen. But like I said, I was in a different Zoom group today, and over half of them the video was off.
Okay.
I was in another one where they're like, you know what, I don't want to get on screen right now. I just don't feel like it. I'm like, okay. You know, I think I told you before I got started, I'm like, I'm eating, I don't care. And this is not the shirt I would normally wear, but again, it's what it is.
Okay.
Like this.
Yeah, I've got a Deadpool shirt underneath here, but you know,
I got a Deadpool book somewhere behind me, but I don't know where. It's probably right next to the Lady Death one, which I'm hoping most of my viewers won't know what that is either.
So yeah,
I mean,
go ahead.
I was going to say, I want to say that the older people are a little bit less inclined to be in front of the monitor, but I think in all fairness, once they do get in front of it, they get over themselves again pretty quick. There's like, they just get on to doing what it is they need to do, and they're not looking at themselves anymore. They're looking at the other people talking, and that's part of where, you know, I'm trying to figure out how I can look at you instead of me when I talk to you, because it feels weird because I know you're on the other side of the picture of me.
Right. Yeah, I still try to train myself, so I'm focused looking at you. And then in my mind, I'm like, okay, you need to look at the camera up there, you know, kind of certain little things like that.
Well,
so
I'm working on that, but to be fair, I got another camera.
There you go. So did you pick up did you get another camera or what?
I did. I picked up another camera because, again, I wanted to be able to, and this way I think I can grab you over here. And it doesn't work so much with you, but it does when I've got a big group of people. I can take the screen and put them over here so I can actually look at the person I'm talking to. Okay. And I've got a screen with my notes underneath it. And with this one, I've got a light that I know where I'm looking.
So is this angle right here, is this your laptop or computer camera? Or is this an actual separate camera itself?
This is a lighted camera. This is one of the new Razer Keo, I think is what it's called. Whereas when I go over here to this camera, this was my first one. This is one of the Logitech HD 1080p cameras. So I'm a little bit smaller. I don't think the color's quite as vibrant.
It's not as crispy as the other one.
But when I flip over, I mean, to me, it's this light. I love this light because now when I talk and I know I'm on, I'm not looking at me. I look at the light. So I've got something to distract myself with.
Sure.
And now the problem is whatever's going on this screen catches the corner of my eye, so I look over. But I look over less than I did with the other camera.
So for some of you who are kind of curious on how Chris is, switching in between cameras and all that stuff, you want to kind of explain how you go through that?
Well, I've got them both.
Or just wizardry and magicians never reveal their secrets.
No, it's because I've always wanted to be on camera, but I couldn't never talk anybody else into doing it for me. So I figured out how to do it myself.
Okay, there you go.
No. Over here, you've got a underneath where it says stop video. You can switch your cameras if you've got more than one of them. Now, what I'm trying to figure out how to do is how I can record from both of them at the same time. I may have to start 2 instances.
All right.
So it may be a matter of me running a desktop on one and then flipping over and running another desktop and running it on that one also. Otherwise, I'd have to run it as 2 different programs on 2 different windows.
Right. So can you tell the difference in my camera? So this is my webcam. So it's webcam, and then this is my.
Yeah, but mostly the difference is your size. I mean, you go from being a little bit bigger to a little bit smaller to a little bit bigger. And I think that's kind of the difference that I've got as well.
Sure.
But with the Kiro, I can go in and I can mess with the saturation and all kinds of other fun things. Now, how I can do it while I'm live, I don't know yet. Again, the reason why I did all of this was because I don't like the shiny on my lights.
So did you make your adjustments to your lights?
I did. I've got my big light is now pointing at the ceiling instead of at me, so that helps with some of the brightness. I've got more lights in the house in the room now, but these are my reading glasses. Right. So I can look at you and I can still see me on the screen and I can still read what's underneath it. So you get a better feel for actually talking to me without the glare in my eyes distracting you as much.
Sure, yeah. No, that's one of the challenges that I've always been discouraged about, but I've kind of overcome that with, if I go like this, you can see the lights that are going on, but
exactly.
But if I keep my head down a little bit and, just position myself in a certain way, you won't see that annoying little glare on there. So, but it's all about lighting too. I've got my 2 LED lights, and I've got a small one up here. However, the small one that's up here, it's very dimmed. However, my 2 LED panels that I have on this side, they are full power, but they're going up towards the ceiling, and then of course lights reflecting back down, so it gives that beautiful soft light going on. But yeah, lighting makes all the difference in the world as well,
It really does. And so now I've gotten to where I get up in the morning and I start off with my ring light and I turn it on low just to kind of get the room, gets that nice little feeling. It's like, okay, we're about to get started. It's morning time. I go and get my cold glass of water and I come and sit down in here and I get the rest of the computer set up to get moving and my day gets started.
There you go. All right.
And then I kick on my man cave light. And then when I turn on this camera, lights show action, right?
Heck yeah, man. There's nothing wrong with that. I just need to get you a fancy little background up and running now and keep it fluid.
Maybe get some lights going here or.
Hey, well, I think I haven't tried it yet. I've got an actual green screen fabric. And it's not like specialty green screen fabric. You can use any type of green color. Yeah. But trying to eliminate that little motion going on right there.
Hey, what is that blue thing behind you? And I'm like, well, it's a jacket because otherwise you get to see the blue of the gaming chair. And that was another thing. I was talking with my coach today. I was like, you know, this is my gaming room. I mean, I would come in here and I would get on my PC and I would play games. I'm not playing games in here anymore. This is like, I come in here to work. If I want to play games, I go out to the living room, you know?
So you're Chris is command central right now.
Yeah, I mean, this is, you know, I'm in here all day long except for when I go out to eat. And of course, you know, since we're not going anywhere, I went ahead and got one of these little folding tables so I can sit and eat outside, or I can sit and eat in the living room, and I can sit at a table instead of, you know,
Right.
at the coffee table, or worse, you know, at the computer, because you really don't want to eat at the computer. But
Hey, I get it. I get it.
know,
So kind of with everything going on, a lot of us being at home doing all this, are you starting to get more and more comfortable with this? I know we kind of touched on it a little bit about, you know, you like to be out and about, you know, things like that, but is it saving you money at any point? I mean, what benefits do you see in the near future for all this? And, you know, do you see anything positive coming out of all this?
well, in the future, I think we will. I mean, because we'll be more comfortable with it. But you know, I also went out and got a new, and I don't know if you can tell, the sound quality is probably 100 times better than it was on our first show, because I got a better mic.
What'd you get?
I got a Blue Snowball.
Okay.
But I got it because it works better with Discord.
Okay.
Because I'm like, well, at the end of all this, I'm still going to want to play games with it. And I've plugged it into my PlayStation, and it still works with that. So I can now, I mean, before it was like I'd have the microphone on and I'd talk to somebody and they could hear me, but I always sounded like too far away, or I was shouting.
Okay.
This is like I'm talking at a normal tone. If it sounds like I'm shouting, it's because I'm shouting in the room, not because I'm shouting at the mic.
Right.
But you know, it also, because it's plugged into the computer, you're not getting the feedback that you would normally get from a headset microphone if I had the speakers casting my voice.
Right.
And as you talk, we're not getting a feedback loop because it's registering all that. But that's not because my computer is really special. It's because that mic is really special.
Sure.
So I got the mic set up on a group chat. So if, you know, I could take this and I could put it in a conference room with 8 people around it, and we would all be able to talk in a normal tone, and you would hear us just like you were in the conference room. So
Okay.
it's just a better quality mic than, you know, the one that comes with the microphone right here, or the camera right here. And
Right.
I don't even know if there's a microphone in the in this one, the one with the light, because I'm like, I don't care. I got a mic.
Yeah, absolutely. Cool.
You know, I'm running it through the mic because that's what I bought the mic for.
Sure. Yeah.
And you know, it works great for business, so why not use it?
Absolutely.
You know, we're doing these podcasts with it, and you know, why not? I mean, it sounds a lot better.
It does, absolutely. So I see you got your hair cut.
I did. I got them all cut, not just this one.
Is it a self-cut, or did you?
No. I went and helped out one of my local business friends and let them cut my hair, because that's who I get to cut my hair, and I was looking like a hippie. My hair was just gotten way too long. And
can you see my bun, or is it hidden?
I can see it a little bit, but you can't see. I do have my peak still. It's just as I lean back,
kind of blends in a little bit.
Kind of blends out. But it always does the first day after I get it cut. And then, you know, like tomorrow it'll be nice and up there. And then a week from now, it's going to be like I'm getting close to looking like a hippie again.
Okay.
Yeah, I know. I've got friends who have no hair, and
you're still rocking and rolling.
And my hair's still growing too fast. I get my hair cut like every 3 weeks. Otherwise, it touches my collar.
Okay. Well, you're looking sharp, man, for this podcast. Really appreciate it. I'm sure the other folks do too.
Yeah. Well, you know what? We are actually over an hour now since I stopped it and started again.
Oh, okay.
So right. I should probably let you go and have some of that Mari's pizza, because, man, it's good. I want more.
Hey, that good, huh?
Well, I only had 2 pieces, man. So yeah,
All right.
that and says my biscotti for breakfast this morning.
All right. Well, cool.
Yeah,
Yeah, thank you for joining me and allowing me to come on your wonderful podcast here.
yeah, we'll do it again next week, and hopefully I'll remember to change shirts.
You look adorable.
Oh, thank you, thank you. Well, and eventually I'll figure out how to get these get the screens to where either people can see both of us at the same time, or I can see you while I'm talking. I don't know, one or the other.